Hello, everyone, and welcome to yet another Casino Guru News webinar on all things gambling. Today, we're going to zoom in on casino streaming ecosystem. Very interesting topic, and I'm glad you are watching us right now. Hopefully, we will all learn something new. As in a short introduction of the topic, I guess it is important to say that casino streaming has become a powerful trend in the industry with a unique blend of entertainment and social interaction, I guess we could say. However, like any other trend, it comes with its own set of benefits, but also risks. And I feel like we have to understand those benefits and risks in order to navigate them and make the best of what's out there right now. And as always, it wouldn't be just me, myself, and I telling you about it. I have three amazing guests joining me, and I am particularly excited about today's panel since for the first time, my very own colleague is here as a speaker. But let me introduce and welcome our panel in its entirety. So first of all, we have here Roy, aka Spintwix, online casino streamer and founder of CasinoRing.com. Also, an influencer marketing team lead in the iGaming industry at Famesters. And Szymon Vince, Casino Guru's head of sustainable and safer gambling. So, welcome everybody. Hi, and thank you again for joining me. How are you today?
Very good.
Yeah, well, I told you that I hope you feel chatty today, and so far, never mind. We will get to it. I will make you talk. So, before we get started, I guess I would appreciate if you, each and every one of you, could tell us a little bit something about yourself, about your line of work, maybe for those who may not know you. Let's start with Roy.
Happy to. Well, as you said, my name is Roy, aka Spintwix. I've been streaming casinos for the last 7 years. I've been in industry for past 12 in different hats. But doing streaming, it's, as I said, 7 years. Started the channels on Twitch, YouTube, and basically just cruised along since and enjoy the ride. That's basically what I do. Other than that, it's just, we set up Casino Ring, as we're going to talk about it a lot, but it's as different things happening in the industry that force us to do and adapt. But we set it up as basically just a tool for people to show off their wins and have a safe environment to talk and chat about gambling without any criticism, and just be an extension to the streams and what we represent and what we want to bring to.
Right. Thank you. Anna, how about you?
Hi everyone. My name is Anna. I represent Famesters Influencer Marketing Agency. We work with a lot of verticals, but since I'm here, I represent iGaming vertical from our agency. So I've been working with influencers of different kinds, streamers, so YouTube influencers, Instagram as well. So for, I guess, almost 5 years. So I've been in this industry. So I'm glad to discuss all the points about, the other side, the client side of the gambling, of promoting, of launches as well. So nice to meet you all.
Thank you very much, Anna. Szymon.
Hi everybody, my name is Szymon. I work for Casino Guru, as is obvious. So my field of expertise or my area that I work with, it's basically, you can sum it up by looking for ways how Casino Guru, from the position of an affiliate, can influence the online gambling industry in a positive way to enhance player protection and to make it a little bit more sustainable. So I'm running two main projects. The one is Casino Guru Academy. The other one is the initiative for the global health inclusion. Casino streaming is one of the most interesting topics for me currently because, coming from the player protection side, you might expect that I would be anti-streaming, but it would be quite the opposite, because I believe that since it is something that is getting that much attention, it's It's not something that we can ignore and we can try to deny, but to rather look for ways how it can be done in a way it will be not increasing the risk for people involved. So I'm very excited about this discussion. I'm so happy of the collection of people that we had, that we have over here right now. So let's do it.
Yeah, let's get into it. Thank you, Shimon. Lastly, I guess let me introduce myself. My name is Denisa, and I work for Casino Guru, as is obvious, as a part of content team and also a PR team. But today I will be your moderator, mostly. And I think we are ready to dive in, as Shimon already implied. And I have a very good question that I think would help get us going, just like, again, as an introduction. So first and foremost, I would like to start by outlining what casino streaming is, how it started, and its rise in popularity over the last few years. And I guess Roy is a perfect person to answer that question. So Roy, please tell us a little bit more about this trend.
Well, I can tell you that when I started it was very, very, very naive. It was basically very shy people sitting in front of a camera and doing what they like. It started in the most innocent way possible. There weren't even links attached to the stream itself, and it was just somebody streaming its passion, its hobby, and it caught up from there. So suddenly gained more attraction. Channels became bigger. They got a lot more exposure and people watching. And it then, obviously, as every trend in the industry is picked up, the casinos approached the streamers and deals started to be made. And it wasn't a big industry. There weren't a lot of streamers because basically it was very, as I said, very innocent. So people just playing with their own money, the stakes that they know what they do in their privacy of their own home, and nothing was there to gain attraction. Nothing went crazy. Bet sizes were very, very solid. And it started from that. And it built and built and built. But the idea was that somebody that is doing something that was very private and people used to be ashamed to do it, suddenly are doing it on screen in front of a very big audience. And started to build communities around it. So it was very safe to do it. You felt very secure because you gathered a lot of people that had the same interest as you. And it was in your private room, a private chat room, private community. And that was the beginning and how it started, basically. First stages.
Yeah, but I guess it got a lot bigger right now.
Like everything that has money in it, eventually a lot of people will go into it and start to exploit it and see how they can gain the most out of it. And the trend started when basically a lot of crypto casinos came into the industry and they changed the rules and they gave options for streamers that are there just to stream without the whole innocent, as I mentioned, of what you do. And then it started to become more of a business. That's what you see today. It's been a very long road, but that's basically what it is. And now most of the streamers function in that way, in opposed to what we used to and how we built the industry with. So you see a lot of changes. You can think it's good, think it's bad. It doesn't matter. It's there. So you have to deal with it.
Yeah. And why do you think that it got so popular? What attracts people to, watch casino streaming?
Well, first of all, it's something that a lot of people like to do, but are ashamed of it. So they can be behind the computer watching what they love. And suddenly it's not that bad. You get validation. You get attention from somebody who understands what you've been doing. You're not alone with it. So it becomes like a support group in a way, because you're there and, people used to do it very privately. don't talk about it. You don't have a lot of groups. You don't have, most of your friends probably don't gamble, or they will frown upon it. Have family members, things like that. So suddenly you have a very big community that you can share your passion with. And it goes a lot beyond that. You know, when you follow people for 7 years, you get to know them. You go through all their stages of life, from knowing their girlfriend to divorce. And yeah, it's all that, and having kids, and being down in life, being up in life, become very, very close group.
Yeah.
I still remember the people that followed me from the first day, because you say hello to them, you talk to them every day. So the name stays in your head, even if they disappear for a year. So
Wow.
it's there for that. That's the passion that is missing these days, the connection to the people. But it became business like any other business. As I said, you can embrace it, or you can do whatever you want, but it's not going to go away.
Yeah, right. Okay, let's hear from maybe another perspective. Anna, you work closely with streamers, right? And different iGaming brands. Could you maybe elaborate on reasons, in your opinion, why casino streaming is so popular today? What factors do you think are driving the popularity, and why does it resonate with audiences so much?
Well, first of all, I would like to highlight that the whole influencer marketing campaigns, they are used to attract, I guess, the heated audience. So the people who are watching streamers, YouTubers, other influencers, they trust them. They're following them. They look at them like their friends or neighbors, like, oh, this guy is using that platform. This guy is using that product. So, and he's showing that it can be simple and easy, and probably he's not afraid to do some dumb stuff, but just show that it might be difficult to maybe register to use the platforms itself. So mostly because of the audience, and as Roy mentioned as well. So people trust you, and they are following you from the very beginning, and the influencer is, smart enough. They're ready to show some personal things about his life, probably maybe some events in his life. So the audience is getting attached to this, and that's how we build trust. And also, I would say that a lot of gambling brands are launching streamers campaigns, first of all, because of the engaging audience, the type of integrations, I would say, because streamers are very emotional guys usually, so they're showing a lot of different scales of emotion, I would say. So can just they can show that they lost something. They can show that this, for example, this slot is very difficult to use, and this one is very smart and fun and simple. So the audience sees it, they want to use it. That's why a lot of streamers are very performant for gambling brands, and also the duration of integrations, I would say, because usually we work from 1 to 2 hours exclusive streams, so it's enough time to show the platform, even for the newbies, for completely new users, that they need a whole complete introduction of the services. So that's a part of them. And also, I would say that for the streamers is as well as very productive collaboration, because first of all, obviously they get money for that. Also, we had a lot of influencers that are not working with a fixed price, but they're working with the balancing, the wagers and the stuff. So for them, it's also, I would say, it's very fun way to test new platforms, new products, and show their recommendations, because a lot of gambling brands, if they work with niche influencers, niche streamers such as casino streamers, they always ask for advice from the streamers because they know the audience the best, they product the best. And from my perspective, from my expertise, I usually recommend our clients to streamers about the ways how to promote their product.
Can I add something?
Yeah, absolutely.
So basically, after hearing what you said, I agree with what you said. That's a perspective of how the market transitioned to. Basically, what happened is we had a very short couple of years that it was all about streaming and just passionate streaming, and people just like to stream, and that's what they did. And it became an influencer market. So a lot of streamers just became influencers rather than just streaming. So the change just became like the headline of the market. It's not streaming it; it's influence market.
Yep.
That's a big change that needs to be embraced also by the viewers if they're watching most of the streamers. They're not watching streamers anymore. They're watching an influence with agenda, with something behind it. It's not pure anymore. It's not. A lot of times, it wouldn't be 100% honest. But they need to understand that as well, because that's how the market changed.
Yeah,
that's what
that's well, as you said before, like it became business.
Yeah,
that's why there is a change.
Yeah, I guess that happened pretty much everywhere. You know, it's not just the case with casino streaming. It's the thing that you said, that people follow, you know, influencers, not experts, that the love for the things that used to get people famous are now kind of lost. I guess that's just true for a majority of things, but that's not our main topic today. So let's move to Shimon. Do you have any thoughts of that? Why is casino streaming so appealing to many? And maybe for you, a question a little bit more specific. How can we work with this trend? You know, how can we address the potential risks and just make sure that casino streaming is you know, applies responsible gaming practices?
Yeah, so thank you. When I was preparing for this discussion, I actually was thinking, why is it even the case that people like to watch other people play games, right? Because that's part of it. It's you can also consider it as a novelty. So what I found, and it actually makes sense even for me, that the main reason is to unwind, right? To relax, to get off tension, whatever tension it could be. So you would do it for leisure. And I really appreciate you be part of this discussion because I'm learning so much. And I think the points you made really make sense. And what especially resonated with me was what Anna said regarding the, you know, bringing light into gambling, because gambling as an industry, it's full of distrust. It's full of, you know, uncertainty, especially with online. Like, I mean, people are not I would say the industry or the understanding of the people is not that mature already. So the gambling literacy is low. That is the reason why affiliate marketing is so strong in this industry, because people are looking for someone or for something they can trust, so they would feel right into depositing their money. And when you have streamers, you can show what gambling looks like, and people wouldn't be able to see it otherwise. People wouldn't be able to follow other people gambling. And if they would be doing it in a physical environment, it could even get annoying for those people. So it happened to me once that I wanted to learn how to play craps, right? I was in a casino. So I was stepping at tables, looking at people playing craps, and I found them feeling annoyed by me. So they were, are you going to play or what? You were just going to watch. No, yeah, I would like to play, but I don't know how to play it, right? So casino streaming is offering this, and I think it's a very good point why it is so popular. And when it comes to risks, and when it comes to, you know, the challenges with respect to safer gambling, I think it is quite well related to what Roy said, that that change from that being a hobby for people into something that is commercially viable is increasing the risk, because then you are not thinking about the way what you can deliver to your players in order to have fun. I mean, for them to be entertained, but you are thinking about how I can make my stream that appealing that it is going to increase my commercial advantage. And that is the point when it is becoming dangerous, because right, for me, one of the biggest downfalls of casino streaming is that it can very easily make an unrealistic image of gambling, right? When you have someone making stakes in the thousands of dollars or whatever, and having hundreds of thousands or millions in their balance, for someone who is not aware about the industry, for someone who doesn't really understand what is going on, this could influence them. And it falls down not only to a specific content, so what the person is doing or what the person is staking, but what kind of audience is watching it. And since it is streaming, which is popular among the younger generations, then it can happen quite easily that not only the young adults, but people who are underage are going to watch it.
Yeah.
The thing is that it's based on psychology. People can watch 3 hours of a streamer losing millions, but when he wins 100K, oh my God, he won 100K. They will only look at the win. And they don't see the entire loss of the session. If it's real money and if it's not real money, it doesn't matter. The psychology behind it is just looking at the massive win that he had and not what he put in to get it. We say that a lot on our streams as well. And if anybody ever comes to my stream and said, after a big win that I had, and said, "Oh, it's fake, you're always winning," it's like all of my stream will go crazy and said, "This is like the unluckiest streamer ever. How can you say that?" That's people watching for a very long time. They know. Every once in a while, it's statistics. You're gonna hit some. If you're clear about the fact that this is something that comes up a lot in streams, you have to be very honest and clear about the fact that you're playing a casino. You're gonna lose in the long run. It doesn't matter. This is entertainment, and don't. That's where the responsibility of the streamer comes in. And it doesn't happen very often. I lost a lot of viewers because I stood on my standards and morals. And I didn't go to those crazy bets of 100 euros, 1,000. I don't do that. I stay on the same bet size, and I even lowered it. And, when somebody comes to me and he says, "I want to try the casino for the first time, what advice can you give me?" Everybody on stream will say it because I say it every time. I tell them, don't. There's no reason for you to start something that you don't know. The streamer there, if you come for an advice, is for somebody who's already playing. And the advice needs to be honest, needs to be clear, and even if it's not politically correct for your channel, you have some kind of responsibility towards people who watches you. And yes, it's gonna hurt you income-wise, but that's how I did everything from the beginning. We're gonna talk later on why they do it, why there's so much emphasis on making profit now and pushing casinos, and it comes on, like Simon said, it comes on the expenses of honesty in a lot of cases. Only want to say.
Yeah, thank you. I was interested by your phrase or choice of words that your viewers or somebody can only see, or they only notice the winnings, right? They don't see the losses and stuff like that. So question popped up in my mind. Do they gain, your viewers, do they gain a false confidence from watching the streamers winning big bucks? Or maybe I will rephrase that. What impact these streams can possibly have on viewers? And this is a question, I guess, for the whole panel, since it's on the spectrum there. But I was interested if they think that maybe, if this guy could win $200 million, I can as well.
That's why gambling is 18 plus. It should be, in my opinion, 25 plus, but that's why it's 18 plus, because there's an impressionable mind some point, compared to an adult mind that can say, okay, this is gambling, and I can make a difference between him winning now and losses, and an impression mind that just sees, and especially today, the kids, they just see like a very short excitement period and not see the entire big picture. That's what happens in these gambling sessions, because losing is very slow while winning is instant. And the dopamine rush of, anything that's addictive is spread over a very short period, and that's why you get the excitement of big win. When you lose very slowly. So it just becomes something in the back. And that's why you put a lot of emphasis on the win itself, not the entire session.
Yeah, but on the other hand, sorry if I'm interrupting anybody. On the other hand, Shimon pointed out that watching casino streamers can be a form of relaxation. So, that's another of the impact that I was trying to imply, that maybe they don't need to play because somebody else is playing, what I mean? That it can be a lot of things why people watch streamers.
That's something that I hear a lot on my streams. People say that I want to stream, I stopped stream, I want to gamble, I stopped gambling, but I watch streams to get some kind of touch into the gambling, but I don't have to gamble. I just watch you. A lot of people say so. It is helping a lot of people, because I hear it a lot from many others. So yes, it has that effect as well. I don't want to assume that it helps, and I want to put it as a fact. That's the feedback that I get, but I can't assume they're actually using it as a tool. I can say that I get the feedback, but I can't be 100% sure that it's true.
Yeah, I get that. Also, you said that, in your opinion, gambling should be legal by the age of 25. Are there any other maybe restrictions that you would put on gambling in terms of making it more safer and responsible?
At the end of the day, no. No, I'll explain why. First of all, different cultures, people watch from all around the world. You can't control everybody, and you can't put restrictions on everybody. You can either restrict it. Why I say 25? Because that's the only thing that I can assume has some kind of psychological development that can handle gambling better. Everything else is, there's also personal responsibilities at the end of the day. There's a lot of things online, and you can't start restricting everything. Then you're restricting basically freedom of speech and freedom of expression. People, when it comes to gambling, you can restrict the age, but you can't restrict one of the oldest businesses in the world. It's just not going to happen. What will happen is that you'll get more unlicensed and unrestricted platforms. It's going to become even worse. You see that with every license and every restrictions around try to control, and you just create a worse solution, because people are going to gamble. People are going to watch streams. So please do it in a way that it's some kind what somehow controlled.
I guess we could move on a little bit. I would just preface this by saying that it seems like casino streaming offers a unique blend of opportunities for everybody. I mean, for users, consumers, streamers as well, and operators. And I would stay maybe a little while at the marketing part of things. And I know that you work very closely with these companies. Could you tell us how are iGaming companies leveraging streamers to promote their products? Like, what's the journey behind it? What strategies are being employed? And what ethical considerations come to play? If you had any experiences with that?
Well, first of all, as an addition to the previous question we discussed there, as a part of our briefs with influencers, we're trying to, set even it's necessary to show the loss and to emphasize on that because, if we speak about these certain regions such as CIS, for example, they are watching gambling stream. Well, some of them to find a new platform to gamble, some of them to just, as a hobby, as a feel and relaxing time, and some of them just to watch at all, inadequate behavior of the streamers. So some, like scandalous stuff, probably like emphasizing the loss, and some of them, they breaking the keyboard, they're just screaming, they shouting, so that's all emotional and impressive. So that's why the influencer is being watched by the audience. So speaking of the briefings, where I usually try to show the loss as well and emphasize on that, and not only because that has to be fun and entertaining, but also because we need to show that loss can also be, and that's the part of the that's responsible gambling. Because if as from part of marketing, if we say that you always win, you always get what you want, no losses, everything is true and everything is guaranteed, that first of all might be breaking the laws of regulators, some of them, so that's simply not legal. And also that creates not very realistic image of the gambling. So that's from the previous question, my opinion here. And also as a part of the way we work with the streamers, with influencers, usually, and from my perspective, it's the best option to promote gambling brands is to book the exclusive streams. Usually we start from 5 integrations, so 5 streams. Usually we recommend not to do it like day after day, but still it's very important not to allow the streamers to promote another gambling brands at the part of our collaboration. So for example, on Monday they promote one brand, on Tuesday they promote the different brands. So I think in this case, just the audience won't remember the brand itself, so they will just watch the stream and just think, oh, it's another gambling. Well, I'm not getting any clicks, I'm not getting any research of the platform, I'll just watch. So as a part of performance, that's not gonna work. So we're not recommending that. Also, some of influencers work with revenue share with affiliates. So I would say that a good option to gain more audience from different social platforms of the influencers. So for example, a lot of streamers, they have annonces on like Instagram, Telegram, other social media stuff. So we're getting that audience as well. So from the part of that, the exclusive stream is the most performing, I would say here. But speaking of the exact games the influencer should show, as I said before, we usually try to ask the creator about that, because for some campaigns, we have a certain KPIs and certain targets. For example, a new Crash game is popping up, so we need to announce it to just show the releases. Also, there are a lot of campaigns we performed when the client comes to us and they are just releasing the new game, and they need to have the feedback of the audience. They have a lot of further steps to release and to upgrade some things. So the recommendations from influencer and from the audience in the comments, they are just very useful and important for the campaign. So as apart from the influencer campaign, we usually targeting for registrations, new users, deposits, etc. But these release recommendations, they're just a good addiction part. So yeah, that's how we work usually.
Yeah, thank you very much. Roy, I would like to know your opinion about how influencers that are also online streamers work right now. What do you think about that workflow?
Well, I can say this. It used to be very straightforward. You get a slight advantage from the casino while getting 100% deposit bonuses. It was easier to bring players to casinos. You can be like the most strict streamer ever and say everything like straightforward and still be able to produce enough players for you to keep your deals, continue streaming. It was a lot easier. Then Twitch, YouTube, everybody start restricting how we work and stream, which made bringing players to the casino a lot harder. But that was the business, basically. You bring players, you get deals. It was very open, very clear, very straightforward. Like every other influencer, you have to get paid to sustain it, especially when you put so much money into it. And it was, as I said, very simple, very open, very straightforward. Once restrictions came in, it became very hard to produce the same amount of numbers that you did before, which made a lot of restrictions from casinos and licenses, things like that, which made it a lot harder and a lot more appealing for casinos to control how the streamer would work. So, for example, you have the OG streamers, I would say, that their mindset is set in a certain way, and they will not be able, and most casinos will not be able to convince them to change anything in the flow of the stream and how they control the stream itself and the environment. I will not be told what to play, how to play, how long to play. I will never work like that. While the new generation of streamers they came into the industry where it's like that. So for them, this is the only way to work. Casino will work with them in that sense because this is the only thing they will offer. 100% deposit bonuses are very rare today, but we used to have the very simple baseline, and it became very, very, as I said, influence based. So you're there to perform. So a lot of the streamers that come in today are performance.
Yeah.
They come put on a show. So I never related to that. I'm not going to stop my stream and start spinning wheels for half an hour. And as I said, that cost me a lot in how I used to, in what I used to be. But I'm okay with that. I've done my part. I just want to continue doing what I love, but I can still see what happens to the industry. I don't blame them. When you come into something, you don't know what it was before. So you don't know how to appreciate, it's like somebody who was very poor and built himself into being rich. He will always remember what it was being poor. If you're born into money, you don't know what it is. You don't know what's the struggles. You don't know what it means to be take a break because you just lost all your bankroll. They don't know what it's like. So it's completely different industry, which I don't relate to. I just do, what I like. I'm not going to change into what it became. And as I said, it's what it is. But how casinos work today, it's what it became. So you can't fight it. I'm not going to adjust to it. And I'm just going to have to accept that this is what it is.
You also mentioned some restrictions that came to place and regulations, and I'm very interested in that. I guess this is a question for Shimon. Who do you think should regulate, the space around casino streaming, and what regulations are necessary to ensure that it's responsible environment?
It's also a very difficult to answer because if you take a look at it, the online gambling is regulated state by state, right? So you can create a regulation in one country regarding streaming, which will look somehow whatever, right? I mean, let's imagine that you are doing it in the best intention, like let's keep it entertaining, but let's also keep it, like less risky. And if you do it right, the people from that country, which should be following just locally regulated operators, would be following it. But the chances this is going to work out are very low, right? Because there's so much uncertainty regarding online casino streaming, and especially for the regulators. It's a hell of a difficult job, to have a full grasp and to understand how to make it in a way that it's still going to be appealing for people and still will be, sort of like a safer environment. So then I would almost say that there is very little like nation state-driven regulation that can do any changes. So for me, what are the main actors in this will be the platforms. So I think the disruption that Twitch did a year ago or a year and a half ago, when they basically banned the most watched streamers, I think their definition was that if you do not promote a casino brand with a US license or a casino brand that is sort of like responsible, I don't remember what exactly it was, but it wasn't that specific, then you won't be able to stream on Twitch. And as a result, a lot of streamers that were going with the crazy amounts as Trainwreck or Rove, I think his name was, it stopped for Twitch. I mean, they moved to Kick, right? And this is one of the signs that you cannot really stop the wave, and it's going to find its way how to grow further. But as we can see, it's also difficult for platforms to regulate it because they're also looking into their commercial advantages. And as it is with gambling, it's not black and white regarding what is safe and what is not, and who is watching and who is not watching, and how you can promote it. So it's a very difficult thing. So I think the main driver that is going to influence it, and it is influencing the trends in streaming, is the audience who watches it. Right? There wouldn't be a shift that you are talking about from those hobby streaming to commercial streaming if there wasn't a demand for it. So if the audience is more educated, more mature, and would understand that what you see most of the time when it's like a crazy wagers or like crazy winnings, it's not something that is real and going to shape up the environment as well.
And you can't really control the blockchain, because most of them are random people that just stumble onto your content, especially on YouTube, where it just suggests it.
Yeah, indeed. So it's a very low chance how to control it. So I think the best approach, how anyone who has on mind how can I make my stream less risky, would be to put in measures that are giving the real perspective on gambling. Because from my opinion, I think this is one of the best options how to really educate people about what is going on in gambling, because people are watching what directly happens over there. The problem is, as Roy said, that you cannot really control it. You cannot really control the content. You cannot really control the audience. Even with a regulation or without it, right? It's going to find its ways. But if you think about it, this is a great opportunity. But another challenge is that it still needs to be appealing. It still needs to be entertaining. And as we know, safer gambling is no fun stuff. No one really wants to engage in it unless there is a problem, which is a bad thing, but that is just the way it is. So we are kind of in a, Section 22 problem where we cannot really find a reasonable way how to go around with it. So I think it requires sort of like a collective action or collective state of mind in which we would be, trying to be commercially viable, but still thinking about that possible negative point that could be part of it.
Yeah, thank you. I kept thinking while you were talking that about what Anna said, that, why people watch influencers in the first place, because they trust them and they are like their neighbors and stuff. And maybe if those people, if those streamers did what you just described that they should do, just educate people around risks of gambling, maybe that could be somehow sort of way to make things better. But this forum is not about my...
In a perfect world.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm idealist. This is a suggestion.
No, I'm with you. I wish. But when you show somebody that it comes into this for money, and you tell them if you're going to say that, you're going to make less money, you just won't say it.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Maybe, I don't know, Anna could have a little tips for how to, balance marketing and responsible gambling, how to make education fun.
That was actually a good question. How make it educating but still entertaining? No one likes to work with scam brands, I would say. It's obviously, I would say there is a difference in licensing as a part of influencers, of streamers, because almost all gambling brands, they have Malta or Curacao license, and that's for the part of gambling. But for the influencer, it works only for tier 2, tier 3 influencers. So for English-speaking influencers, for tier 1, for top tiers streamers, they know that the brand is regulated, but as a part of promoting it, they are always asking for a local license for advertisement. That's from the legal part of collaboration with influencers and streamers. And how to balance that? That's really a good question, because from my side, it's very easy to work with fully packed licensed brands, because we are very direct in promoting something. We're not adding any, tricky things, how to avoid some regulations but make it still responsible and fun. But we're trying to always set the borders of when it comes to not responsible gambling. We're trying to discuss the risks. We're trying to discuss that you need to use support if you have something in mind, like you're not controlling that, because it's a part of responsible gambling is that we must be sure that the audience is playing responsibly. Yeah, I was just saying that twice or three times. So even though we are just trying to not be very direct, because if the influencer will be sitting in his chair and just saying, look, I have a brand to promote, just don't make a lot of bets, don't play a lot of money because it's irresponsible. No, we're just trying to make it very transparent, but still very, I would say, flexible here. So yeah, that from my perspective. But also as a part of performance marketing, I would say that it's very important to trace the bounce rates for brands, because if the brand is fully legit and it requires a lot of KYC, it requires a lot of identification to be a part of the platform. There are a big percentage of audience that can be bounced back, because when they see the first obstacle, and if this decision to start gambling is very emotional, they want just to press the button, just make deposit and do whatever they need. But if the platform is fully legal, fully legit, so we need to trace that percentage as well, because that's still the audience that was attracted by the promotion, but they didn't perform the target action because of the identification.
Yeah, right. Thank you very much. Again, just to move things a little bit forward, there's one question or one thing that I don't think we heard yet, and that's the question of if the online streaming, encourage more gambling, or does it soothe the urge for others to gamble. I think actually, now that I think about it, I think I suggested it before, this line of thought, but it's very important, and it's one of the risks that we've been talking about, right? That it impact player behavior, and it can impact maybe some problem players or some struggling people. So I guess just could you tell me what are your thoughts about this? Does it indeed make other people gamble more to be watching streamers?
I was trying to do it on my own, but I was unsuccessful. That's a pretty good question, and I think that there is no clear answer for it, because some time ago, I was engaging about this topic with some professionals, but not regarding streaming, but regarding free games. And the reason why I was doing it was because we were contacted by Casino Guru by a couple of people who were basically saying that they are thankful that we have the possibility so they can play free games without, any need of depositing money, because they were saying that is the thing that is keeping them away from real gambling, because then they would be able to extinguish that kind of a fire in them, at least with this. Mm-hmm. When I was talking with professionals about this, the majority of them told me that it is not a good idea. And the main reason is that it can increase the risk that the person is gonna relapse and the person is gonna get the urge to gamble for real money. And I think the same applies for streaming as well. So I would sum it up by saying that it can be individual, because even from my perspective, sort of the treatment of problem gambling, not the gambling disorder itself, but the various degrees of problem gambling, I think the conclusion of it has moved a little bit away from a complete, not prohibition, but complete, abstinency of gambling. So I think now it is considered that even people who are dealing with stuff, they could be able at some point to gamble in a way that it is within the lines of their means. So I think it would apply for playing free games and watching streams as well. I would say that there are people which really can find it beneficial on their journey to recovery or in their journey how to stay away from gambling. But I think that there should be a raised finger all the time that even though it works for some, there is still this risk.
Yeah, I guess there's no one solution for everything. And at the end of the day, I guess casino streaming isn't going anywhere. So, people are going to still watch it. So there's pretty much, it was just a thought. There's just only as we can do about it. Do you guys have any thoughts on that?
I can say what I think, not what I know. Because at the end of the day, there's no way for me to know. But going through this for the last 7 years, I can say this. If you're entering a casino streamer channel, you have an interest in gambling. Don't just stumble upon streaming or a casino, especially when it says casino on your, or slots on your title.
That's true. I've never seen one before I started working for casino.
Yeah, you can just, it's not like suggested to your algorithm when you watch, a koala bear in Australia or survival videos in Papua New Guinea. It's just because you have an. Having said that, I think there is an effect to it. I think it can encourage people. That's where personal responsibility of a streamer comes in. So if somebody says, "Oh, I have a gambling problem and I lost 50K this week," for some streamers, that's an opportunity. For others, it's a red flag. So I would go to him and I would say, "Listen, I think it's time for you to take a break. It's not my place to know your financial situation. So I don't know if you can afford that 50K or not. For me, it's a lot of money. So for some, it's a day at the office. I'm not there to judge, but I will tell them, look, in my perspective, it's a lot of money. You should take a break. If you need any help in introducing tools for you to control your gambling, always free to contact me personally. And I've followed people with gambling problems for weeks, every day talking to them. Did you gamble today? Not. And I give them, and I had people saying, there's no way for me to know if they actually do it or not. But I would tell them, look, if you can stay a week off gambling, at the end of the week, I promise to send you a T-shirt. I promise to send you a hat, some kind of. And I followed a lot of people throughout the years like that. I do it behind the scenes on Instagram, private chats. I don't talk about it because I think it's a personal thing. But I will always tell somebody, you can always contact me if you need help. That's how I work. So yes, it costs me a lot in revenue, but I sleep better at night. I don't need it. I don't care about it. And that's where streaming and streaming communities can become a tool for personal people to actually have responsible gambling. Because saying responsible gambling is kind of an oxymoron. It doesn't work together. If you look at future. And I don't think that if it sounds very like whitewashing gambling, right? There's responsible gambling. But if you really take that and you really care about that thing, there is it's a valid place in gambling industry. And Casino Guru, and also I find myself in that place as well. They find a way to balance these things and say, look, if you're gambling already, I'll give you the best tools and the best casinos and the best information to have a safer place to gamble. Yeah. But on the other hand, I'm there if you don't want to gamble. I'm giving you that because I know the dangerous environment it can cause, especially online where you don't have like physical need to go to a casino and gamble. You don't have that restriction. It's available all the time. So you add that. So you say, okay, for the long run, I'm building a community that I can trust, and the people are not going to go away. They're going to gamble. So at least give them, don't add gambling to your gamblings. Just give them all of your tools that you can safe gamble, and give them tools if they don't want to gamble. Be fair. That's my thought about it in general.
I think all of us can somehow relate to and understand that. Is even casino streaming profitable? How much brands, typically invest in such things, and how do you even measure success of these collaborations? Is it profitable for brands or for streamers? How much money are we talking?
Obviously, yes. I'm not sure if I will be ready to disclose any certain numbers. But I will say that as a part, it would be interesting for me to hear from your perspective the budget.
I just want to say it goes from 0 to 15 million. Those are the incomes. Mine changes. It's not fixed, but this is how it is. Those are the numbers. So a lot of people get very blinded.
Well, as a part of marketing, I would say that the budgets for casino brands are starting from 500K per month here in our agency. That's the number I can disclose. But as a part of the whole iGaming department that I run, I would say the casino promotions are 60 or 70%, and the rest is for betting companies. So the gambling is very increasing right now, and as a part of streamers as well, they're choosing a lot of brands. They're choosing working with streamers instead of other platforms because there are a lot of advantages, and I discussed that before today. So, what are the profits for the influencer? Well, obviously is if they're working with fixed pricing, so the fixed numbers for each streams, it usually we count them as the price per views, or price for the concurrent viewership. So we need to have the very active audience, not just the number of people who just accidentally appeared on that stream. So yeah. need to have the concrete guys there. So yeah, it's very profitable. And what else can I say that it's not coming under my NDA?
That's all right. I guess you should not.
Percentages. You can disclose percentages, right?
Yeah.
What the real amount is.
Yeah, well, as I said, that like 60% of gambling and the 30% for betting. For the gambling brands, also like almost 80% is just casino streamers. And then I'd say that from that monthly budget, I think that almost half of them just goes to the gambling streamers, because it's not that, there is a common illusion, I would say, from the influencers, from the streamers, that if the brand is somehow related to gambling, they are, they're getting very generous offers. They're just spending money like that and just not counting any performance, not making any estimations. They just see a gambling influencer, they are gambling brands, like, okay, let's work for $1 million. That's it. So that's not how gonna work. Well, there are a lot of brands that are still working like that, I guess. But we as an agency, we make a lot of estimations. So we're trying not to make it happen. The money that are like wasted.
So we have only a space for one more question, and I would like to end this maybe on a positive note. So my question is, could you give an example of gambling streaming done right? Besides Roy, I mean. Is there any particular platform, a supplier, or streamer that stands out in your opinion and is a model for best practices?
I'm amazing. No, look, everybody needs to make compromises. To tell you that there's 100% a role model, there isn't any. Like, there's no viewer that is asking for. There's nothing that a lot of that's standard for viewers. It changes. Everybody has their own flexibility in the industry and what they find comfortable. Because at the end of the day, we are very vulnerable. We're sitting in front of a camera, in front of hundreds of people talking to them. So we're putting ourselves out there. So we have to do something that is comfortable and good for us as well, to fill that void and to be able to do what we do. So it changes, and that's why you have people with 1,000 viewers and you have people with 5 viewers. Different characters. Viewers have different characters, streamers have different characters, and that goes for their standards as well. Nobody's doing everything perfect. Once you try, there's a lot of politicians will say that when you're trying to satisfy everybody, you're not satisfying anyone. So do whatever you want to do. People will go the extra mile to bring attention to themselves. Some people like me just do what they like, and if you want to watch, watch. If you don't want to watch, don't watch. And I don't really care about numbers like I did before. So basically, that's how it is. I used to be a really big streamer. I used to have thousands of viewers. Once you say, okay, I either compromise on the content that I create and I become what people want me to become, or I'm okay with what I do, and if people want to watch, they watch. That's why I have like 40, 50, 60-year-old people watching, because we are at the same place in life, and I prefer to have like really fun conversations for 2 hours than, jump around in costumes and spin wheels, and I'm too old for that. I just do what I want to do. I'm not going to start changing my ways now. I'm not going to be that. So once I realize that it's that or that, I'm comfortable where I am. Some people are not. And they will dress up and make funny things and do charity streams. And
Yeah, well, thankfully we don't have to, so.
yeah, exactly. But that's my mindset. If you ask me 3 years ago, I would have a different one. Actually, it's flexible and there's a spec.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. And the rest of you guys, maybe do you have a shout out for anybody?
I mean, to be honest, I cannot really say any names. The main reason is that I do not watch casino stream that much. So if I would to name anybody, it would be Roy, because I know him and I watched a couple of those. And because I know him, I know that he is, I know that he's legit, and I have a quite a high assurance that he wouldn't be doing anything that would be deceiving and stuff like that, because you cannot basically be following anyone on 100%. So what is giving you some kind of an assurance is this connection, this trust we've been talking about before, which I think is a very strong part of streaming in a way that it can be very influential. But what I wanted to emphasize is that what I would shout out to is that in the past months, I am seeing new and, early successful companies that are penetrating into online gambling, focused around crypto, focused around community building, because that is very much connected with influencing as well, which are coming clean with their trajectory, with their strategy, and especially with who they are. So you would see contribution from founders. You would see the founders and the real movers of the casinos to be appearing on streams and to be out there, which I think is a very good strategy, because then you are putting yourself on a stage. So you are putting out the reputation not only for the brand but also for yourself. And I think that it creates a much stronger connection, and also the stronger assurance that the company is not going to do anything that is going to jeopardize their brand and thus their reputation among the players, because the reputation of the brand and brand awareness is becoming more and more important, and people are not that easily fooled as it was a couple of years ago. So I think that this is a very good shift. I would say that it's a handful of companies, but still it's a very good example of how to proceed further with influencing and with all the stuff that is currently like a hot trend in player.
I would say that the best strategy is no strategies at all. So, and the best we can do to make the stream very impressive and performative is just to correctly choose the streamer. Because if we choose the wrong guy and just give him the brief to stream some following order, that won't be that simple as to just choose the right person from the very beginning and allow him to use his charisma, the way to interact with the audience. So that's the best option for the marketing and for the brands itself, because I think no one, maybe some of my colleagues will kill me for that, but there is nothing worse that is simple and dull integrations. They just look like the rest of the integrations as well. So when you see the certain advertisement from one influencer to another, there's just, that's not interesting and that's not performing at all. So if you have their own flow and own, I would say, way to introduce things, so that's the best option for the good stream.
Thank you very much. And I really appreciate you for being here, offering your perspective. It was great. And thank you. Thank you very much one more time. Thank you, Roy and Anna and Shimon. And thank you all who watched this webinar for being a part of conversation. Please let us know in the comment section below, what do you think about casino streaming, whether you enjoyed this webinar or not. And make sure to follow us on social media, and don't forget to subscribe.
The comments. I'm a very sensitive person. Don't be mean.
Oh, yeah. So please, everybody, leave a note that you really enjoy Roy. And in the meantime, I will be looking forward to our next session. Have a great rest of the day. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.